We have introduced the Anbaxian symbol of wisdom, freedom, truth, and clarity in the past 2 episodes. Feel free to check them out in our channel. Today, we're going for the symbol of saving people and vitality. Subscribe us for more Daoism from Taoist cultivators. The 5th symbol of Anbaxian is the fish drum, which is Zhangguo Lao's magical tool. In the representation of men and women, old and young, rich and poor, noble and lowly, Zhangguo Lao represents old. In Taoist cultivation, the fish drum symbolizes the Taoist belief in helping the world and saving people. The fish drum has a long history, tracing back to the Tang Dynasty's Daoqing, which were Taoist ballades sung by Taoists while telling Taoist teachings. The way they narrated Taoist tales and sentiments was by playing the fish drum and singing Taoist songs. Hence, the phrase playing the fish drum and singing Taoist songs is often mentioned together, as seen in the Tang Dynasty's Jiuzhen, Chengtian. By the Yuan Dynasty, the fish drum was even more widely used. According to the history of Yuan, many commoners, instead of engaging in proper occupations, perform and teach miscellaneous arts in towns and cities, playing the fish drum to attract and gather people. It became a common tool for street performers. As a musical instrument, its clear and crisp sound captures attention. It was popular among common folks, making it a music instrument that even ordinary people could enjoy. It attracted and admonished people, aiming to save the masses, thus representing the Taoist belief in helping the world and saving people. The story of Zhangguo Lao, the holder of this magical tool, is often about traveling through 3 realms and enlightening sentient beings. Zhangguo Lao, originally a Taoist priest during the Tang Dynasty, was said to live for several hundreds of years, earning the respectful title of Zhangguo Lao, which means Zhangguo, the long-lived. His iconic image is that of riding a white donkey backward. This white donkey could travel 1,000 miles a day without needing food or water. When resting, Zhangguo Lao would fold it up, and when needed, he would blow on it and turn it back into a donkey. Legend has it that he often carried a Daoqing fish drum, rode his white donkey backward, traveled far and wide, sing Taoist ballades, and advising people to cultivate early. According to the Minghuang Zalu, Zhangguo Lao lived in seclusion on Zhongtiao Mountain in Hengzhou and often moved between Fenzhou and Jingzhou. People believed he possessed the secret to immortality. Emperors Taizong and Gaozong of the Tang Dynasty repeatedly summoned him to the capital, but he never went. Empress Wu Zetian sent people to invite him out of the mountains, but he pretended to be dead in front of the witnesses. Later, he was seen again in the mountains of Hengzhou. Click like and subscribe to support us. The 6th symbol we introduce is the golden purple flute, which is Xiangzi's magical tool. In the representation of men and women, old and young, rich and poor, noble and lowly, Xiangzi represents rich. In Taoist cultivation, the golden purple flute symbolizes the Taoist belief in vitality and life. As a musical instrument, the flute has an ancient history. According to the Lü Shi Chunqiu, a foundational historical text, the Yellow Emperor ordered Ling Lun to cut bamboo from Kunlun to make flute pipes, indicating that flutes have been part of Chinese civilization for thousands of years. In the famous Taoist text Xiangzi, there is a discussion about sound. Ziyou said, the sound of the earth are like the various holes in nature that wind goes through. The sound of humanity are like the notes played on bamboo flute. But may I ask about the sound of heaven? Ziqi replied, the blowing of each thing is different, but each makes its own sound. Who is the blower? The sounds of humanity are the music of flutes and strings, while the sounds of the earth are the vibration created by wind through natural objects. The sounds of heaven are the primordial frequency of all things under the influence of the Tao. Thus, playing the flute is a way to simulate and understand the sounds of heavenly creation, embodying the creational virtue of Tao through music. In Taoist cultivation, the golden purple flute represents the belief in vitality and life. This aligns with the Taoist classic Lingbao Duren script, which states, "The way of immortals values life." Han Xiangzi, the user of the golden purple flute, was said to have a natural talent for music as well. The Taoist melody, Heavenly Flowers, is traditionally attributed to him. According to the Taiping Guangji, Han Xiangzi was the nephew of Han Yu, who is the famous poet and state official of Tang Dynasty. Han Xiangzi lived a difficult early life, not engaging in formal studies and enjoying drinking. At the age of 20, he went to Luoyang to visit relatives and then wandered the world, not returning for almost 20 years, during which time he disappeared without a trace. During the Yuanhe period, he suddenly returned to Chang'an, looking destitute, with ragged clothes and odd behaviors. Han Yu, having not seen his nephew for a long time, kindly welcomed Han Xiangzi and let him chat with relatives at the academy. Han Xiangzi did not read, behaving almost like a man made of mud, but he loved to gamble and sometimes slept in the stables for 3 to 5 days or went out for the night. He claimed to have a skill of dyeing flowers, turning red flowers into green ones and making some flowers display 5 different colors. In the autumn of that year, he and Han Yu dyed a cluster of white flowers in the back hall, promising that in the spring the flowers would bloom with green edges, gold and red interwoven patterns inside, and 5 colored flowers around them. He buried these medicine at the roots and replanted them, waiting for the spring to verify. Shortly after, he quietly left again without a trace. Later, Han Yu offended the emperor by speaking bluntly and was demoted to be the governor of Chaozhou. On his way through Shangshan, the path was slippery with snow, and Han Yu was depressed. Suddenly, he saw his nephew coming to greet him, offering his respect and taking his rein, behaving very attentively. The next day, after the snow stopped, his nephew accompanied him to Dengzhou and said, "My master is here. I cannot go further. I will be entering Xuanhu Mountain near Emperor's Peak." Han Yu was surprised and asked who his master was. His nephew replied, "Master Hongya." Han Yu then wrote a 56-character poem to bid him farewell. "In the morning, I presented my memorials to the emperor. By evening, I was exiled to Chaoyang, 8,000 miles away, to serve the holy court and eliminate corrupt practices, not for personal gain in my declining years. Clouds block the Qingling mountain. Where is my home? Snow piles up the land pass. The horse cannot proceed. I know you came from afar with purpose. Take care of my bones at the edge of the malarial river." After writing the poem, Han Yu tearfully bid farewell, and his nephew disappeared into the forest like a flying bird. The next spring, the flowers bloomed with colors just as Han Xiangzi had described. Even more remarkably, each petal bore 14 characters in the regular script that said, "Clouds block the Qingling mountains. Where is my home? Snow piles up the land pass, and the horse cannot proceed," which is the poem that Han Yu wrote after the flowers were planted.